Okay, for this next video, let's talk about the project file, which is a very important topic, so we're going to start off with that, and then we're going to go into a little bit of the Vault structure and how the folders work, just a high-level overview. So we need to go back up to Project Explorer, and you'll see this fultoncloud.ipj. You want to get this, so right-click, get, and then go ahead and click OK. It's a small file, but it sets up a lot as far as how Inventor and Vault work together. So what this is going to be doing is it's going to be syncing where your workspace is. So if I am looking at the Vault and I see all these folders and I see all the files in those folders once I've navigated down that far, the project file combined with Vault is telling us where this needs to save on our local computer. So you can see once you've gotten something from a folder, it doesn't automatically build out the entire folder structure on your local computer until you've gotten something from a certain folder. But you can see on my C drive, Fulton Cloud, that's where the project file is telling it to stay. Then I have designs. Actually, if I backed up, you'd see design data, that project file that we got. And everything has to, if you want something to go into the Vault, it has to be inside this folder. You can't upload something outside of it. What you can see is I have stuff on my local computer that is not in the Vault. So you still have to tell it to go into the Vault, and you can save some things that are junk files. I call a lot of them junk. They're just samples or test things that I'm doing that I don't necessarily want in the Vault. So you can still have those in the same folder. They won't upload until you actually tell it to. Okay, so you've gotten this. You should see a white circle here, which we're going to go over the white circles in the next video when we go over checking in and checking out. Now we're going to go to your Inventor. Go ahead and open up Inventor. If this is your first time, you're going to see a default here, and what you need to do is hit the three dots, go to settings, and you're going to browse down here. So you won't have a check mark next to Fulton Cloud. You need to browse to your C drive, Fulton Cloud, and then double click on that IPJ file, which has an icon that looks like that, and go ahead and click open. I'm going to click cancel, and then if it doesn't automatically check mark, just double click on it and you can change your project. Okay, so now we can see some of the other things your project file is dictating, and that's all right here. So it's telling us where it needs to save, as we said, using the style library, if it's read or write, your appearance libraries, your workspace. It's telling you all your shortcuts, so every time you open up a dialog box in Inventor to save or to open or create new, you'll have a list of shortcuts here. So if there ever is something, like I'm sure I haven't updated this in a while, we're probably not in RD 14,000 anymore. So if you ever need anything updated, let me know and I can get these shortcuts updated for you. It's also telling us where our templates are. That's that other folder you got per the last video. So it's telling Inventor where to look, where our design data is, which is vaulted, but it's telling it where it needs to look. Presets, content center files, and some additional options. This is really dictated by the Vault, but we do have to use unique file names. So just touch on that. You can have the same part number, so 510YYYY.ipt.idw.pdf. You can have multiple, you can have the same name on many file types, but you can't have the same name on the same file type. We keep 3 versions. Every time you save, it creates an old version. That's not going to be vaulted. That'll just be on your local, and then some other settings here. So you're not going to be writing to this, but I just wanted to show you some of the things that it's going to be actually doing. That's it for the project. Again, that's setting these so it knows where to look. So if you were to click new at this point and you got those templates, and that project file is telling it exactly where to look. We're going to dive into this in a minute, but not right now. Okay, so I just want to go over some high-level Vault structure stuff. All of your designs are going to go in designs. You shouldn't be saving anything into CAD resources or design data. Everything goes into the designs folder. In the non-approved folder, you see everybody, just about everybody, has a folder with their name on it. Anything that goes in this non-approved folder should not be referenced anywhere else in the Vault. I don't want to see any library components like, oh, I uploaded a screw from McMaster Car and now I'm using that in an actual part numbered assembly. Anything in here is a complete side project, and nobody else should ever reference it either. That's the only thing that should go into your non-approved. Everything else has a place in the vault, and if you're wondering where it should go, send me a message or send whoever the CAD manager is, if this is 5 years in the future and I'm not like a CAD manager, send them a message and ask them where it should be. But we should not be stocking this non-approved folder up, and it has grown a little bigger than I would like, but there's also a good reason to have this as well. There are projects that make sense just to go kind of off bar, but I might want to share this with Anthony, or I might want to share this with Nick, so I'm just going to upload it in my non-approved. Documents, in here you're going to see some of our building drawings here, old DWGs, and these are all, a lot of these are just reference at this point. Buildings and workspaces, so if you ever wanted to look at this is actually an accurate map of Centerville Road and then all of the Fulton buildings if you ever needed that. And lastly, let's touch on programs. So there's a few of us, myself included, that write iLogic codes or Visual Basic macros. Basically, it's kind of the same way you could look at an Excel macro. So that's where all of these are, and these should just help your productivity. So if you ever want to dive into that, let me know, and feel free. Especially with this 2027 release, they're making iLogic easier than it ever has before with a graphical user interface. So be sure to check that out. Graphics. Graphics are going to be things that go in manuals or cutaways. They're not. They don't belong in the part numbered area because they're not going to be revised. We need a place to put them. So in here, the G18s. I think this is all FBS. So all of G18 is an FBS. All of G17. This is all VSRT file. These can be used in brochures, marketing, and exploded cabinet drawing here. That's for a parts manual. So that's what graphics are. They need to be kept a little separate from the actual revised part numbers. iLogic, this needs to be moved into documents, which I'll do shortly, so ignore that for now. Job numbers, if you're not in sales engineering, you do not need to worry about job numbers. If you are, that'll be a separate video entirely. So that is where all of our custom engineered systems and our one-off jobs go, is in job numbers. Library folders. The biggest thing you're going to find in here is fittings and hardware. This is your hardware store. Okay. In here, you could go to bolts, and these all should be set up very similar. And then I want a grade 5 bolt. Nothing special. Do I want it plain? Do I want it zinc plated? I'm coming in here and I'm navigating to the bolt I need. So there's a good library going of these. What I need you to do, and I can tell right from here that somebody didn't do it, and that's a new file. So that's when you are creating a new bolt. There is things in Inventor called families. Now if I needed to change, if I'm working on assembly and I have this 3/8 by 3/4 inch long bolt, and let's say there's a revision, I have this bolt in there 27 times, and I need to change that. Okay, you know what, that actually needs to be a 1-inch bolt. If I go to the 1-inch bolt, you see it looks very similar. Inventor's going to be able to, when I replace that, Inventor's going to be able to recognize those faces and those constraints, and it's just going to pop in, and a full replace is going to work, and it's not going to cause me any extra work. But when I use a downloaded file, because I didn't feel like opening up the 1/4 by 1 1/4 and just extruding that bolt to 1 1/2, so same idea between the 1-inch and 1 1/4. Because I didn't do that, when I replaced that bolt with a 1.5, if I have that 46 times in an assembly, that is at least 46 constraints that I have to now go back and fix. So I really don't want to see this, and we should not be downloading files for regular hardware items that are going to be used in assemblies. If it belongs in here, you start with one of the family members, do a save as, and do it correctly. Now, on downloaded files, there is plenty of times where downloaded files are acceptable. They're one-offs. It's for a jig or fixture. Any of those, there's plenty of reasons to do it. Okay, but if it's going in a regular assembly, in a part numbered assembly, you should not be downloading from McMaster Car on something that is going in a regular family library. Okay, I'll get off my soapbox for that. Hardware, you're going to need most of the bolts, nuts, washers, you'll use a lot of these. And let's go to fittings. So if you're dealing with pipe fittings, well, we're a boiler manufacturer. We deal with a lot of pipe fittings. You're going to want almost all of these fittings as well. Your flanges, your elbows, your unions, etc. That's all going to be in here. And same idea as, let's say I have a 3,000 pound union and I need a 4-inch. You wouldn't, but let's just hypothetically, you would want to start from this 3-inch, do the same thing, and just scale that up using measuring the 4-inch caliper rather than going online and downloading one for the same reasons we just discussed. So feel free to explore through those a little bit. These are library folders and valves and stuff like that, so be familiar with that. Okay, part numbers, part number structure. So Fulton part number structure is always 1 digit, then 2 digits, so 1-10, and then 6 digits. So you'll see this folder structure actually mirror that. So if I go to 110, again it's 1-10- all the 6 digits. And you can see that across all of these. This one's labeled, right? So we got a little more specific. This is generally sales tool area. You can see this, and then some of the folders will be broken down even further, like this 510 folder, which I need to go in and sort again. But you can see this is then expanded further. That's it for part numbers. Products you're not going to be using unless you're in sales, in which case quote components are in there. R&D should not be in here. That's probably just an old file that accidentally got uploaded. There's also the A to Z folder on the part numbers. Same thing with PD. If you pull a PD number, you'd go to A to Z P PD. This is product development, and you could then navigate to your proper folder. Oh, here's R&D. Okay, they have their own folder entirely, which is fine. That actually works well. Because R&D, once it becomes part numbered, should move into the part numbers folder, but otherwise stays separate in the vault. And then lastly, templates. So I'm right knocking on 15 minutes for this video, which I did not want any of them to go that long, but then the templates we already covered, so perfect timing. I'm going to call this video done there, and I'll see you in the next one.